Good afternoon, everybody. This will be, I think, the third time I've tried to do this talk. The first time was with the group, and I wasn't real fond of that video. Then I tried to record something on Facebook, record Facebook Live, and my microphone didn't pick up the sound, so I'm doing it now a third time. Anyway, no biggie. Practice, right? Practice makes perfect. I should look at the camera rather than my computer. Is there a separate? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to talk this afternoon about our levels of ordination in the order of Kuan Zen. They're somewhat different than traditional Soto hierarchy of nations. And there's a reason why. One of the reasons is that Matsuoka Roshi, who was my teacher's teacher, when he came to America in the late 1930s, he wanted to, from what I understand, wanted to create an American kind of Zen. Now, he didn't want to replicate the kind of temple Zen that was existing in Japan at the time, and still does, I think. He wanted something that Americans could understand, perhaps, and be willing to practice, and so forth. So what he did was he streamlined a lot of things. He streamlined the liturgy. He streamlined the levels of ordination, if you will. And when I founded the order, I decided that we needed some changes. Matsuoka Roshi, from my teacher's experience, had only initiation, what he called initiation, and what came to Jikai, basically. Well, actually, it wasn't. It was more. He became a disciple, and then a priest in training, and then he went on and became a priest. So normally there's 3 levels. I thought that we needed some modification of that. I wasn't ready to grant students Jikai without a lot of prep work, and I assume that's the case among most Zen centers in the United States. But people at the same time wanted to feel like they were affiliated, that they were following the Buddha way. They wanted some recognition, I guess, for their continued service to the Sangha and for their practice. So I initiated something called Kai Sanbo, which Master Dogen Zenji wrote about in his Shobogenzo. It's basically a lay ordination. A person becomes a refuge holder, in fact. They take the 3 refuges, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. They take the 3 pure precepts: cease doing evil, do good, and bring about abundant good for all beings. And they have to sew wagesa, that's a single strap vestment. Put the embroidery symbols on it, and give them a Dharma name and a certificate. And they feel like they are now members of the Sangha. And they had their practice experience and their work with the teacher validated. Next step would be Jikai, and that's where most Zen centers in the United States, I think, go first. The person practices for some period of time with the teacher. There's a bunch of study, a bunch of practice, and then becomes a precept holder. The precept holder takes the 3 refuges, the 3 pure precepts, and the 10 grave precepts, which follow, so altogether 16 precepts. They have to sew rakusu, it's one of these things. And in my case, they sew a black rakusu. In San Francisco Zen Center, I think it's blue. In Japan, my understanding is that novitiate priests wear black. I assume it varies from center to center, lineage to lineage, and that's okay. Nothing is written in stone with Zen. Zen Buddhism. We're a iconoclastic bunch of. But anyway, and so in the order of Kurman Zen, we have Kai Sanbo, reference holder, Jikai, precept holder, and then we have a ceremony we call a discipleship ceremony, and person then becomes what my teacher used to call a PIP, a priest in training. And that priest in training is someone who learns all the duties involved in operating a temple, from Roshi to Tenzo to the Ino, practice leader, Jikido, all those various roles that occur in temple practice. Also is expected to learn all the ceremonies, various ceremonies from the holidays like Rohatsu or Hanamasuri, those kinds of things. Expected to know the history of Buddhism, the Buddha way, history of Zen. Expected to memorize the sutras that we use in our liturgy. There's a huge number of requirements that they have to do, but also they have to perform some kind of engaged practice, because our order is based on the third pure precept to bring about abundant good for all beings. I believe that Zen is not just about sitting on a cushion. Zen is about working in the world. It's about bringing about abundant good. Wherever it occurs, it needs to occur. So we have people that worked in prisons. We have people who worked in soup kitchens, who have done street practice, any number of practices that are involved in alleviating suffering. And then the next step would be a full priesthood. We call that home leading ceremony, or Shikai. Shikai means home leading, and in the fascicles in Shogagenzo, Master Dogen talks all about that. Home leading means that you, in effect, are leading what you know. You're leading your everyday world, so to speak, and stepping into the world of the ordained, in the clergy world. And I think that has some specific requirements, perhaps maybe qualifications, I don't know. It's in effect, it's about changing your point of focus. You're a clergy person. So your obligation is to serve people who are in need of service, one form or another. So if somebody calls in the middle of the night as a priest, you answer the call and you address the suffering, whatever that might be. I think it can be terribly stressful, particularly on a relationship, because the priest's first consideration is the suffering of others. So when somebody needs help, you offer it. That one of the 10 great precepts is to not be stingy, particularly with the Dharma. So you have an obligation to be in service to others. I expect a priest in training to start a sitting group, and there are instructions for that in our standards for the Order of Requirements. And I should mention that we have a book that I have written with collaboration with many others over the last 10 or 12 years. Actually, since year 2000, I guess, I've been working on this. It's a book available on Amazon. It's called the Shingi Standards for the Order of Clear Mind Zen. In it is practically everything you need to know to be a priest in our order. Table of contents is extensive. It covers all kinds of things. It's divided into several sections. The section we're talking about today is the section on ordinations. And the flag here with the sticky note. Section 6, ordination. If you were to get this book and look at it, you would find that on this page you'd have an explanation of the priesthood, and then our lineage chart that goes all the way back to the Buddha, from myself all the way back to the Buddha. Then we have the all about the Sanbo, the ceremony that's involved. There are examples of certificates that people can use, ordinations, and so on. It's pretty comprehensive. So all of that is available through this book. If you go to Amazon and put in my name, Harvey Daiho Gilbert, my books will come up, and this will be one of the ordered, I think in a Kindle version, an ebook version, or in paperback. And what I did when I got mine is I spiral bound it because I wanted to be able to lay it flat. And paperbacks, they sometimes don't lay flat. So I had that spiral bound, and I could set it on my lectern and go down here. And I'm not going to worry about it closing on itself. Okay. What else do I need to say about this? Recognize that this order is, while we follow Soto teachings in many respects, in particular Dogen Zenji, we do not necessarily follow Soto Shu. Soto Shu, which is the authority of Soto Zen in Japan, they have like 7 levels of ordination. We don't. And they're quite specific about what each of those means. And ours differs. And that's okay, because we're an independent Zen Buddhist organization. We have priests all over the place. I'm grateful for the work that our Sangha members and our priests have done over the years. It's been a delight. Both having a temple and having a Sangha, and having people from California and Texas, Virginia. We had some people creating city groups, Albuquerque here in New Mexico. So it's been interesting and a delight. Some challenging, but that's the nature of the animal, I suppose. Okay, so I don't know if you have any questions about our order, our lineage, our ceremonies, policies, or anything like that. All you have to do is make a comment. I'm going to be posting this on my YouTube channel as well as on Facebook. Make a comment, and I'll be glad to address it. Or you can write to me personally through email at daihoroshi@gmail.com. My phone number is 575-680-6680. You can call me or text me. I'm available to you whenever I can possibly be. Okay. I think that about does it. Thank you for joining me here in our little home Zendo. Don't forget that I do a Dharma talk on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We're conducting a service on Sundays at 10 a.m. Some people will be in person here in the Zendo. Some people will be on Zoom. It's fine if you want to join us. All you have to do is let me know, and I will send you my member ID. Password to get into my private room, Zoom room. Okay. Well, thank you again. It's been a delight having you. I hope take care of yourselves and be well.